Plus 3 minus 3 cancels. That leaves me with a 3k on the right and a negative 3 here. My rule says divide by 3. This is not the golden rule. Cancel here. I have a k greater than negative 1. But if I want a graph, remember, we always want the variable to go first. So I'm going to put a k and a negative 1. They're my key players. The mouth is eating the negative 1. It still needs to eat the negative 1. And now I can graph this. Negative 1, no equal sign, so open circle. And with k on the left, I know I can follow the direction of the inequality sign for my shading. And I'm done. All right, let's move over here to example 4. Draw on the wall. Over here on the right, we can clean this up by combining like terms. So 6 plus 3 is 9b, plus 3. Everything else stays the same. This is going to be my B room over here, and this will be my number room. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Divide both sides by 9. Again, not the golden rule. Just putting a note there just so that you can see it. This would both have to be a negative if it was the golden rule. Cancel this. I'm going to get a b is less than or equal to negative 1. But now I want my key player terms to be in the correct order. b and negative 1. Mouth is eating the b. And then graph. Negative 1 is my key value. There is an equal sign, so I make it solid. And then I shade to the right. Right? So this is 2 examples where we can clean up one side or the other first and then move terms left and right. All right, let's move up here to number 5. Number 5 is an inequality, but now we need to get rid of parentheses. So I'm going to draw on my wall. The method we use for getting rid of parentheses is to distribute here and here. So I've got 40a minus 20 less than or equal to 100. From here, I'm going to add 20 because remember, we want a's on this side. We'll put numbers on the other side. I chose problems today on these notes where we practiced where the variable was on one side and then we had to flip it in the end, just because there were some examples in Delta Math like that. So plus 20 is 120. Everything else stays the same. Divide by 40. This is not the golden rule. I'm going to abbreviate, not GR. A is less than or equal to 30. Key players. A, 30, greater than equal to 30, solid, shade right. All right, so we have one issue here. Anybody see what it is? 120 divided by 4 is just 3. These are just 3's. I apologize, I did a math error there. So 120 divided by 4 is 3. This should be a 3. This should be a 3. Okay? All right, now moving on to example 6. If I had given you this the very first day, you might have been a little intimidated. But if we're clear in our strategy and we follow the rules that we've been taught about cleaning up, combining like terms, watching our signs, we should be all right. So as I come over here and I draw on my wall, I got to do a lot of cleaning on this side. So let's start by getting rid of parentheses. Negative 14 minus 21, don't forget the n, plus 5n. Okay, less than or equal to negative 110. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So my like terms are the ones that involve n this time. So I've got negative 14 minus 16n is less than negative 110. Now this is going to be my n room, this is going to be my number room. I chose this as my n room because n is already on the left. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides. negative 96, negative 16n. Divide both sides by negative 16. Okay? At this point, I'm going to put stars here. This is the golden rule. We divided both sides, and this is a 1, by negative 16. So now this symbol is going to flip from less than to greater than equal to. N is going to be here, and the answer is 6. Negative 96 divided by negative 16. When I graph my answer, 6, solid circle, shaded to the right. It is my greatest hope for you in this lesson that when you get to the end and you get to graphing, that's an easy thing for you. That the final answer and making a picture is old hat. The harder stuff is just doing the algebra to begin and then also verifying the golden rule. Okay, let's move down to example 7 and 8. So for number 7, I'm going to draw on my wall. All right. Let's clean up the left. So my like terms are these. So that's going to give me 7v. I'll bring down the minus 8. On the right, I have a negative v, and combining like terms gives me negative 8. I'm going to make this my v room and this my number room. So I will add 8 to both sides. Cancels everything. If this is my number room, obviously this doesn't belong. So I'm going to move it to the other side by adding v. There's a 1 in front. So that's going to give me 8v is less than or equal to, and everything goes away. You're left with 0. Divide by 8, not the golden rule. So v is greater than 0. Open circle, shaded to the right. Okay. I'm going to put a note here to study this. Sometimes you forget, well, what happens when all the numbers go away? It's replaced with a 0. Okay? Since this canceled over here, this technically cancels, but if you want to keep the 0 there so you don't lose it, that's fine. All right, last one in this row. Draw on the wall. Make this the K side, make this the number side. Plus 11, plus 11. 6k is less than or equal to k plus 10. Minus k. Divide by 5. Sorry, that's supposed to be my less than or equal to symbol. K is less than or equal to 2. K is on the left, don't need to flip it. Not a golden rule, so this is not the golden rule, obviously. Graph my solution, solid, shade left. All right, 2 more problems, and we're done for today with the harder types. All right, now when I say these are harder, these are gonna go way, way, way harder. So that's why it's really important when you write them, give yourself a lot of space, take your time, and show your work. So right here is my greater than symbol, so I'm going to come down and draw on my wall. All right. Left side, combine like terms, negative 4 plus 4 is 0n, which is just a 0. Distribute the negative 1 out front. Distribute here. All right. Now, when everything's on one side, we can choose. Let's make this over here my letter room. So we're going to make this the n room, this the number room. Okay. Clean up over here. So we're going to clean this side up. Negative 8n. Negative 8 plus 24 is 16. We said this was the number room, so I'm going to add 8n. Divide by 8. N is greater than 2. Open circle, shade to the right. All right, so what made it tricky was the fact we had to do some distributing, remembering how to distribute with a negative, -1 times 4, -1 times 8. Then we had to combine like terms, so here's our combine like terms command. Then we said, you know what, let's make it look like everything else and move the ends to the other side. We did our solving. Again, this is not the golden rule. So we just had to finish out the problem. All right, let's do the last one. Draw on our wall. Boop. We'll take it all the way down. Start cleaning up the left. 7n minus 5n is 2n. Less than or equal to. Distribute my negatives, so I get -3n minus 6. Distribute my negatives here. -6 plus 2n. Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so if you want to put a little 1 here, you're welcome to remember to multiply. Let's combine like terms on this left side, which gives me -1n minus 12 is less than or equal to 2n. We'll make this the n room, this the number room. Add n. Divide by 3. Be careful here. This is dividing by +3. This is not the golden rule. So I end up with n is less than or equal to -4, which looks like this.